Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone can hear me? Okay.
Can.
Okay, thank you, No Afifa.
Right.
All right. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Watson, and I'm the sales consultant at PCSS Consultancy. So basically, just a brief introduction on PCSS. PCSS is the leading project management solution provider in Malaysia. This solution includes the implementation of a project management office, project management software training, implementation and integration, planning and scheduling services, and project team management. We also provide CAD and BIM solutions. So to those who are interested for today's webinar, so we do provide this solution to our clients. As we know, digital construction is the way forward for the construction industry. So as part of our digital construction work webinar series, today we are presenting episode 1, advanced usage of BIM data. So just for a little housekeeping before we get started. Okay, this session is being recorded. So anyone that asking about the recording session, we will provide the record link soon to you guys. So no need to worry about that. And make sure all the participants, the audio are disabled so that we can have a very clear that one from the speaker. And of course, if you have any question, you can type it in the chat box at any time. Okay, now without further ado, we will turn the time over to Maxon Chu, the Technical Director of Reliant Design, who is our partner in BIM services. So just a brief introduction about Maxon. Maxon is an experienced specialist in BIM, CAD, and CAE. He oversees and manages the technical department in the current company, which is working in Reliant Design. And as an engineer himself, Maxon also teaches various CAD and CAE applications for the past 15 years. So without further ado, Maxon Chu, are you there?
Thank you, Watson. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay. Is my slide shown?
Yeah, it's showing.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, Maxon.
Do we really need to use BIM if we can complete a construction project using just AutoCAD or 2D DWG? Would you still consider using BIM? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maxon Chu, and I'm from Reliant Design Solutions, Berhad, a partner with PCSS. So Reliant and PCSS together, we provide BIM consultancy services. Aside from that, we are also we also provide the software, BIM-related software, and also BIM-related training. The topic of our webinar today is advanced usage of building information modeling, which is to move beyond just doing 3D model for your building or your infrastructure. So my purpose today is to open your eyes so that you can see what is beyond the 3D model, what can you benefit when using BIM, and a rough way of how to implement them. Before we start, I probably need to make sure that we're all on the same page. Let me quickly define what BIM or Building Information Modeling is, so we are all make sure that you know what we're talking about. So BIM is the digital model of a building that is rich with information. Another aspect of BIM is the process of creating that digital model. So that's it about BIM. But perhaps before we can really understand the advanced usage of BIM or the different possibility of BIM, we probably want to know the underlying reason of why we need to use BIM. Right now, what you're looking at is a chart. Okay, I will go through with you together on the meaning of this chart. Firstly, you can have a look at the blue curve number 1. And we also look at the axis, which is down here. So that the x-axis is the phase of project, a construction project. From the very left is the design stage, and then somewhere in the middle is the construction stage, And then up to the right is the handover or the operation stage when the project has been completed. So again, let's look at the blue curve. So the blue curve is our ability to impact costs and the functionality of a building or an infrastructure. And we can see that at the early stage of the project, we have lots of ability to impact cost or even to change the function of the building. For example, maybe you want to make the car park larger or you want to reposition certain room, you can do that. But towards the end of the project, it's almost impossible, right? Okay, and then next, have a look at the red curve, which is the curve number 2. So the red curve is the cost of design change. How much will it cost you if you change your design? So again, from the very early stage, you can see the curve is going up, right? The red color curve. So from the early stage, you can change your design of your building and it won't cost you too much compared to if you do it during the middle stage, which is the construction stage, or of course, if you do it near to the end of the project, it will cost you a lot because the building has already been built. So we have the blue curve, ability to impact cost and the function of the building. And then we got the red curve, which is the cost of doing the changes in your building. Next, let's have a look at the black curve, curve number 3. So curve number 3 is like a bell curve. It represents the traditional way of design in the construction industry. So traditional means when we do 2D drawings. So traditionally, when the project starts, in the early design stage, we're all very relaxed, not much thing to do. And as it comes closer to the construction stage, we all begin, especially the designers, right, begin to get very busy trying to finish the project up, trying to finish the drawings, trying to amend, okay, trying to fix the drawings. So the peak is during the construction stage. And then after that, it slows down. The workload slows down. So in BIM, what we are trying to achieve is actually the curve number 4, which is the brown curve. Yeah? So we are actually trying to move the bell curve, the black bell curve, more to the left, more to the early stage, which means in BIM, you always see that designers are always busy from the very start of the project. Before construction, you're very busy doing digital models, building up the 3D BIM models, checking for clash detection, reviewing your models is very busy. And come construction stage, they'll be more relaxed because everything has been done. The digital model has been completed, it has been coordinated. So construction ideally should run smoothly and the curve goes down, less job from construction onwards. Not to say no job, but less job. So that's the whole idea of BIM, to move the traditional way, the bell curve to the left. Why? Because we know that our ability to change the building function and the cost of these changes are low during the early stage. So why not focus more on the early stage instead of rushing the project or rushing the design work during the construction stage. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the underlying reason actually of doing BIM. This is the main reason. We want to improve the construction design. That's why we adopt BIM. So, but BIM has many use. It is used, and as year pass by, we are going to see more and more adoption of BIM in different aspects of construction. In this table here, I divided some pictures into 2 areas. The white box are the common use of BIM. So if you are doing BIM or you're involved in any BIM project, you will know this. Okay, we are using it to design the architectural discipline of the model, the structural discipline, the M&E discipline, or the civil and infrastructure discipline. And to a certain point, we use the 3D to develop maybe some visualization, since we already have the 3D, right? But aside from that, more other BIM uses are getting more common. These are like sustainability, how to use BIM to design a sustainable building, how to use BIM in managing construction managing, and how to better collaborate using different BIM technology, how to include scheduling and cost analysis or cost estimation to be inside BIM, how can BIM improve safety and in construction site, how about managing the property after the building has been completed, how can BIM help in this case, would BIM be able to improve our quality of the building, or can we better manage the quality control during construction using BIM? And some other things like site management or fabrication, or in Malaysia we call in other countries we call prefab, in Malaysia we call IBS, right? How can BIM integrate into this? So these are just a few of the BIM use, and there are many more. Some are less common, but more and more will come as years pass by. So we're not, when we talk about BIM, we're not just talking about the 3D model, okay, creating the 3D model of the building, it looks nice and it's done. Okay, so it's more than that. Okay. So if you are planning to get involved in a BIM project, or you have been doing some BIM project, maybe some have even been completed, how to gauge, how to gauge if your BIM project, that particular BIM project is successful? How do you define it? How do you define successful? So I have 5 pointers for you, or 5 questions for you to ask yourself to gauge whether your BIM project is successful or not. Okay. Number 1 is, in that BIM project, were you able to better predict the cost of the building at different stage of your project, early design stage, construction, or anything, any stage? Were you able to better predict the cost when you have the BIM model and when you implement BIM? Okay, that's question number 1. Okay, question number 2 is, were you able to improve the scheduling of your project? Did you have better control of the schedule? Can you have a full grasp of the schedule, and can you change the schedule more easier when you do BIM? And then the third question is, do you find that you have fewer errors when you do BIM? You are able to detect the error early and you can fix the error. So your error that you have is lesser, maybe lesser, right? VO during construction. Okay, this is the question. Do you have fewer error? And then question number 4 is, do you feel that your project design, right, the design of the project using BIM, after implementing BIM, do you feel that the design is more optimized? You're able to improve the design at early stage or at a certain stage? Were you able to optimize your design compared to not using BIM? And finally, do you have a better understanding of the entire project, the construction project, when you use BIM? So you can ponder upon these 5 questions. If you answer yes to all these 5 questions, then you can actually say that you have managed to implement BIM in that project successfully. After all, these 5 questions is extracted from a research by McGraw-Hill Construction when they do a survey on many companies around the world who have implemented BIM. So when they feel that BIM is successful, when they did the successful job of BIM in that project, they answer yes, or they give a better positive review on these 5 questions. Before we can actually do more of BIM, advanced usage of BIM, it's also good for me to define, in case some people here are not familiar with this, to define the BIM maturity. So in order for us to improve our BIM, we have to move up the maturity level, or the maturity ladder. Okay, so in BIM, we define projects, or even sometimes we define a company. Okay, it's easier to say we define project by different level. So we have BIM level 0, level 1, level 2, and BIM level 3. So level 0 means no BIM. Yeah, that project is not doing any BIM. is doing the traditional method, the 2D CAD method using AutoCAD. Okay, and then one level up is level 1. Level 1 means that construction project is using a mix of BIM and traditional method. So you can say mix of 2D and 3D. Maybe some drawings or some discipline is still done the traditional method, whereas certain discipline are done in BIM 3D. And then we have one more level up, which is BIM level 2. This is at the moment the ideal stage of BIM, where every stakeholder, every discipline, whether it's architecture, construction, M&E, ICT, okay, all the discipline are collaborating using BIM technology and BIM approach. So in this level 2, we normally have certain requirements. For example, we have to follow certain standard. Some of the famous standard is BS 1192, PAS 1192, and lately ISO 19650. These are standards that we can use as a guideline when we do BIM project level 2, when we collaborate. Another common or another practice when you're doing BIM level 2 project is you need to have a common data environment, also known as CDE, where files are stored centralized and files are federated, or files are kept and reviewed and coordinated in this common data environment. Normally is nowadays is in the cloud. Okay, so this is the ideal one. This is the best, and this is what we should achieve. We should aim for, because if you can do level 2, then your BIM horizon expand. You can now approach and make use of BIM in many aspects, like sustainability, like cost estimation, and others. Okay, there is one more BIM, the highest level of BIM at this moment. It is known as BIM level 3. So BIM level 3, you can define it in two manner, I guess. Number one is everyone is doing the model, everyone is designing the BIM model live in the cloud, which means that if I'm designing, maybe I'm the architect, if I'm designing the architecture portion, I can also see my colleagues or another company doing different discipline or the same discipline live. Okay, this is the criteria for BIM level 3. And then another criteria probably is
you see the differences. Okay. So
yeah.
this one affected. We have suppose we have other joint also similar there.
Sorry.
Yes. Good.
Good. Another.
Okay, maybe someone accidentally on the mic. So I was saying at level 3, there's two things. One is you're doing live in the cloud. Number 2 is the BIM format is because some sort like a neutral format where it's not tied down to a certain software developer. So level 3 is something that is intended for the future. At the moment, the infrastructure and technology cannot cater for level 3. So just set your target to do all BIM project at level 2, and you'll be good enough for now. So once you have achieved certain maturity in BIM, another aspect that you want to see when you want to use advanced, you want to go advanced into BIM is to really understand and to have a practical approach when it comes to your model development, or sometimes known as LOD, level of development. So this is very much expounded in detail in many different standards, whether it's a UK standard or American standard. I'll just briefly go through quickly to refresh your mind, or for those in case, those who have never come upon this level of development. So in a BIM model, we classify the BIM model using a certain code like LOD 100, 200, and so forth. Because we want to have a clear communication between all parties on the expectation and the quality of our model, how rich in information we need the model to be at different stage of our design. So at early stage, we can have a lower detail or development of the model. At higher stage, we most probably want to have a higher level of development. So it starts from LOD 100, which is the lowest. It's normally known as the conceptual stage, where things are modeled very roughly, and they are just representation. Okay, and then we move on to a higher level, which is level 200, where you can see a little bit more details. For example, staircase look more like staircase now. Okay, our door or floor looks more like the floor and the door compared to 100, right? So in 200, you can understand the graphic better, but the quality, the quantity, the size, shape, location, or even the direction, the orientation are still all approximate because this is done in the very early stage of the design. So then we can move up to a different stage, which is LOD 300, where at this stage, LOD 300, we consider it to be precise already, specific already. Means the quantity, how many doors, how many windows, how many valves, they're all specific, is accurate. So it's accurate in terms of quantity, size, shape, location, and orientation. Okay. If you move one step higher, you have LOD 350, which is an improvement from 300, whereby we have connection and sometimes we have accessories like hangers, things like that that's included to the building. Okay, and then one step higher is LOD 400, where you even include information related to the brand, the fabrication information or the installation, the on-site installation information is included inside. So LOD 100, you can say the highest possible level of development when it comes to the model itself. When it comes graphically to the model, this is the highest that you can see. Okay. So this is normally in the construction stage. And then finally, you have the last level, which level LOD 500, or we call it as built sometimes, or field verified. LOD 500 can be the field verified version, which is after you construct finish, right? You update the model, the digital model. So LOD 500 can be updated based on the LOD 400 or LOD 350 or LOD 300. It is just the as-built of the previous LOD. But bear in mind that if a project wants to have facility management or wants to have operation and maintenance as a BIM use in that building, then LOD 500 plays a very important role because it's not just an update of field verified model, but it actually has additional information. Most probably they are non-graphical information into the parameters that are related to facility management. So that is a very rough idea of level of development. And when we do BIM, this plays an important role because different LOD will be used for different BIM use. Okay, I also want to share with you some of the actual model instead of just sharing with you some explanation. So these are our Malaysia's MRT2. MRT2 in Malaysia is the first MRT project that fully uses BIM. They are using BIM level 2, which is the highest possible BIM level at this moment. This is started around 2016 and completed around maybe 2018. Okay, the MRT2 design. So right here in front of you is a station, but it is a model in this particular model that you're looking at. It is at LOD 300. Okay, this is a close-up view. You can see the station itself with all the discipline that is involved inside the MRT station. Okay, these are the M and E discipline. And this is the external aspect of the station. You can see that is the side there, the station design, which is removed. But in this picture that you're looking at, you're focusing on the external work or other external services, whether it's above ground or underground. So now you're looking at the above ground, you can see some landscape, the road, the street lights. They're all designed with BIM in mind. Okay, and this picture you're looking now is looking from below. What you're looking, those they're actually 3D, yeah, but it's quite far, so you can see those are the underground services. Okay, whether it's the TNB services or drainage or others. So we were awarded some of the package for external work back in 2018. So these are just screenshot of those work that we did back in 2018. Okay. By the way, we were also Reliant were awarded back in 2018 also. We were awarded a 2 years contract to conduct training on behalf of MRT Corp for all the main con. So because MRT2 is using BIM, so MRT Corp, the owner, right, of the MRT, they wanted to make sure that all main con have the knowledge of BIM. So we conducted a 2 years training, for 2 years the training, okay, to teach the main con on how to use BIM for MRT. So this is another example of MRT2. This is the depot. Okay, some other picture, screenshot. And another screenshot here for you to see, to show you that this is under almost, I can say almost LOD 500. We use the word LOD 500 here just as an example to show you that in LOD 500, you will have more information inside. Okay, and it's field verified. This is another project. It's Kuasa Damansara Township Development. This is looking from below. You can see the underground utilities. Okay, so another from a different view. Yeah, so that is on level of development. Okay, once you have mastered or you have made sure the LOD is correct and appropriate, another point that you want to see when you're doing advanced BIM or BIM level 2 onwards is that you need to have a common data environment. Earlier I touched a little bit on that. Okay, so common data environment is an environment. Last time, many years back, it is not on the cloud. It could be a server that is maintained on a physical location where everyone can access it to communicate, as opposed to us communicating manually using email, right? But nowadays, common data environment is very advanced. For example, we have Autodesk cloud, right? We call it Autodesk Construction Cloud. It is a common data environment that is widely used nowadays because it has a built-in workflow that can cater for many things like RFI, submitter, clash detection, okay, and things like that. Review, okay, and when you use a common data environment, you might also want to make sure that you use a certain standard. Right here, what you're looking at is the PAS 1192 standard. And this standard, this diagram is also being reused in the latest standard, which is ISO 19650, whereby you need to have a certain structure on how you control and manage the folders and file in your common data environment. This is just a recommended guideline where files and data start with different life cycle. For example, it start with work in progress. Once it has been approved, all approved digitally via the system. Once it has been checked, reviewed, approved, then the life cycle of the can be moved up. Okay, so it can be moved up to a different level, different life state, right? It can be called shared, where you're now able to share between different disciplines. The model that you've created, right, is ready to be shared and be used or consumed by maybe the M&E and the structure. Okay, and then once the design has been approved for construction, you change again the state inside the common data environment to issued or published or some other words, and then it can be used for construction. And then finally, you can change it to archive once the construction has been completed. Okay, so these are just a guideline, but the use of a common data environment is very important inside of BIM to make sure that everybody can access the central location and everybody can access the same source of truth. We sometimes call it the single source of truth. So when there's any discrepancy in the construction site or during any stage, we can just tell them, please refer back to the data in the common data environment, as it is the single source of truth. It has been federated, it has been coordinated. Okay, this is just for your info. One of the Autodesk, one of the CDE, the most famous one is Autodesk Construction Cloud. There are other brands, of course, but we at PCSS and Relay, we're more familiar with Autodesk solution because we carry them. So we just show on this one. So there are many packages actually. The most common one is called Autodesk Docs. And if you need more workflow and more capability, it goes up. There's a higher module like BIM Collaborate, BIM Collaborate Pro. Okay, I won't talk too much about this one, but if you're interested, of course, go ahead and you can contact PCSS and we'll be happy to explain more in more detail of this. Okay, this is a video. It's not my video. I just extract it somewhere. A quick video just to share with you if you've never seen before, how does a common data environment looks like. So this is the Autodesk Cloud. So you actually upload all your files inside the cloud. So you don't need to worry if your PC have problem or your server is damaged, but because it's automatically stored in the cloud and backup. No headache for IT. Okay, and then normally a common data environment also has a built-in review. So managers or supervisors, they don't need to have the software. They don't need to have the Revit authoring software. They can actually view it from the cloud like this. Okay, and then they can add comment. Okay, they can assign issues if there are some issues. Issues could be design issues, or it could be related to any other thing. You can actually categorize the issue. So if you were to create an issue, the person you assign will actually receive the issue via email, and they can actually access the cloud, the CDE, and check on the issue so they can work on the issue. Once they have worked on the issue, they can put some comments and close the case. So everything is tracked. There's no need for you to use email, okay, to manually track these kind of things. Every issue is tracked, and you really can't delete the issue. So there's no loss of data. So you can see here, we close the case, and we can continue to track and create issues. So this is just one of the function. This is the most basic function actually. There are other functions inside that enables you to do clash detection and enables you to work, we call it a work sharing, or a more common term is work on the cloud together, collaborate on the cloud together on the design. I'll show you a little bit of other screenshot of real project. This is another project that we did recently. This is dive project. So in Sarawak, there are many dive school, right? So some of the school like this one that you're looking is called SMK Belaga. So there are even schools are created using BIM, right? Because nowadays government projects are all using BIM, okay, and are following JKR standard. So this is some screenshot that I extract from our common data environment just to share with you. So this is actually LOD 200 only at the very early stage. So you don't see much details yet. Okay, this is SMK Sungai Pao. And if you do BIM, of course, you have a 3D model. Even at the lowest level of development, you can produce many things. For example, using just LOD 200, we can create some simple visualization to express how it looks like a concept. Okay, in this case, because we already do it in using a BIM authoring tool, in this case, Revit. So we use some plugins like Enscape, which will produce the rendering, live rendering, and then at least we can actually present it for we can present some visualization for others to see. Okay, another aspect, okay, once you have the foundations are strong, another aspect of advanced BIM is you can now move on to a different dimension of BIM. So sometimes you hear BIM are used using words like dimension, specifically 2D, 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, 7D, 8D, 9D, 10D. So as far as I know, it goes up to 10D now, but I guess the 9D and 10D is not very famous. So I will not explain too much of that. Okay, but if you're talking about 4D, that is actually known as construction simulation. I'll try to limit the use of D so as not to confuse others. Okay, so with BIM model, your BIM model is information rich, right? So you can proceed to do construction simulation. Okay, what exactly is construction simulation? Okay, it means that you include your scheduling, a little bit of scheduling, your planning department. Maybe they use Primavera or you use Microsoft Project, Windows Gantt chart. Now you can use software like Navisworks or Synchro to merge this schedule with your BIM model. And then you will have a simulation, in other words, a video that you can use to simulate what's your plan schedule at this stage, at this week, at this month, what should come out, what equipment should be placed inside, okay? And then you can also do the actual schedule, and then you can compare side to side, okay? Plan versus actual. So you know, are you ahead of schedule or behind schedule? So you can forecast, you can set all sorts of scenario and know how the construction work. Okay, so construction simulation includes equipment routing, it could include clearing the work site, it could also include the storage of on-site material, you can put your key milestone indicator. So what is it for? Why go all the way to do this kind of thing? Isn't it an extra job? Wouldn't you need an extra expertise to do this? Yeah, you do need, but once you're familiar with it, and every BIM project you can do it, and you will start to see the benefit because it is a way for you to communicate visually. Not everybody can understand Gantt chart or people can miss out certain things in Gantt chart. But if you can communicate visually in the video, every stakeholder, even the building owner, you can involve them. People who are not technically, are not related to construction, but maybe they're just a building owner. You can involve them because they can understand graphically what is happening. So then all stakeholders can provide input. They can give comment because they might be expert in certain area, which we are not expert in, can give comment when they see this construction simulation. And then those expert in construction can manage site logistics better. Okay, you will be able to see clearly the time and space flow between all different discipline and trade. Okay, so I want to show you just a sample video of a live rail project that we did on 4D. Okay, you can see here, as the video is being played, there's a daytime. So we can actually pause the video at any time, of course, and we can actually know at certain time of the year what should be up. Okay, this is just a simple 4D. It can be more complicated than this. Okay, you can include many other things, many aspects of the construction. It's the same one. And this is another video, live actual project. So all these actual projects are collaboration between PCSS and Reliant. Okay, in this video, it has also been integrated with reality capture, something which I have not spoken about. I'll talk about it later. Okay, you can see from here, as time passes by, more and more object and elements are shown. These are, for example, what I expected to be on site during that week. Okay, so this is a construction simulation dimension of beam that can benefit you. These are just some screenshot of the project. We're going to go to another dimension now, another usage of beam, which is a cost estimation, also known as the fifth dimension or 5D. Cost estimation is beginning to pick up. You can see that the D's, the dimension, right, it starts from 2D, moves to 3D, 4D. So the number goes up, means the more the number goes up, the more rare it is actually. Means cost estimation in BIM is less used compared to 4D, just now, construction simulation, for example. And then later, when I explain the 6D, it will be lesser used compared to cost estimation. Because this dimension start to grow, right? As years pass, as BIM technology gets better. Sorry if my voice is a bit hoarse. I'm recovering from COVID at the moment. So cost estimation. Many years back, maybe like 5 years back, most BIM projects do not implement cost estimation. For example, in MRT2, a cost estimation was not part of the BIM. Okay, it only stopped at construction simulation. Okay, but now as we have more and more technology that caters for cost estimation, it makes sense for us to go to this direction. And once the QS picking up on this cost estimation for BIM, then the quantity survey, the QS, can leverage on the BIM data. But one thing about cost estimation that we need to be extra careful is that sometimes when we do BIM model, at the early stage of that project, we have to determine what part of BIM use we want to use. Okay, so if that project requires a cost estimation as part of the usage of BIM, the way you approach the model, the digital model of BIM, is different. Okay, different compared to if you don't use it, because what you see with your eyes, yeah, for example, a complete model of a building or infra could be the same, two complete model, but the way we model it is different. because we model for different usage. So when you model for cost estimation, extra attention has to be paid on the modeling approach. Because if you don't model it as or in sync with the requirement of quantity surveyor, so your output will be no good. The cost estimation will not be so accurate. So here at Reliant or here in this kind of project, right, we have different way to do it. We will pay attention. We have our own approach of modeling that we make sure that model are correct or not oversimplified or overcomplicated. And of course, duplicate play a very important role. You must not have duplicate. Otherwise, when you take out the material takeoff, it is not accurate. So when you do cost estimation for project, for BIM project, the QS play an important role. They will have an influence. They will play a role and influence the way BIM is modeled. We have to consult the QS on certain things so that we, the modelers construct it according to QS requirement. So if you do this, if you do apply cost estimation to BIM, at any stage of the design, early stage at LOD 200, maybe 300, at LOD 300 is the accurate point, 350, 400, 500, you can extract a very accurate material take-off. You can either extract it directly from the BIM authoring tool, where you can extract to Excel, and then the QS can build formula upon it, or you can use many third-party software out there that can actually read the BIM model and automate the extraction or automate the work of cost estimation. This is a very simple example of a simple screenshot here, just to show you example of benefit of cost estimation. What you're seeing here is just a conduit of I think is an apartment. Okay, these are electrical conduit. So if you model it exactly, you can extract the schedule, or you can do the takeoff, and you will be able to know exactly how many fittings, how many angle blocks, T blocks, how many elbow for different services. You know exactly before you even assemble it on site. Okay, so this enable you to estimate, and if on site suddenly there's a big discrepancy, for example, you require 500 elbows for that floor, for example, only for that service. Okay, and then suddenly on site they are using 1,000, and the tolerance is way too much, right? It's double amount. So you can identify, you know something is not right. Okay, because in your digital model, which has been coordinated, is clash-free, is reviewed, it is a single source of truth. But on site, it's totally different. So we can find out what's happening. Okay, and you also know the exact length of the conduit, the total length of each discipline. Okay, what is the segment length? Okay, and you can plan accordingly. So you can change the design, maybe you want to reduce the cost, you can change the design at the early stage. Because remember, BIM, we focus on the early stage. We're very busy on the early stage of the project. So we're moving on to another usage of BIM, which is facilities management. Or some people call it 60, some people call it 70. Asset and maintenance, or some people call it asset and maintenance. I'll just call it facility management. Okay, why do some people call? So some countries, some region use the terminology 6D as facility management, specifically in UK and majority of Malaysia. Okay, but in the US region, some country, it just considered as 7D. Facility management. Yeah? So you will see there's an interchangeable 60 and 70. So it's interchangeable between sustainability. So in the UK, 60 is facility management, 70 is sustainability. In the US, it's the other way around. 6D is sustainability, 7D is facility management. All right, what exactly is facility management? It is nowadays is tied very closely with another buzzword. This you might heard before, digital twin. I'm sure many of you heard before, digital twin, we need a digital twin. Well, digital twin, in essence, is just a 3D, of course, digital replication of the physical building. So we got the physical building and we want to have another aspect, a digital aspect of the building. So that's why it's a twin. The idea is that it's supposed to be a twin. It's supposed to be same, right? What's on site is supposed to be shown on the digital, or what's on the digital is supposed to be on site. Hence, we have digital twin. So this concept, you never hear of it before many years back when the BIM is not adopted yet. So you can see BIM opened the door for many things, many new concepts, many new technology grow from having data-rich digital model of a building or an infra. So, so the idea of digital BIM, digital twin, is that it will continue to grow. It will continue to be updated live. Same like on site. So suddenly on site, you do a renovation, or suddenly in the factory, right, you add new equipment or new machine. The digital twin, which is your digital model, shall be updated also. So that's why here, as written here, the basis of digital twin, that digital model must be live, must continue to grow, and can provide you insights, information, so that you can maintain the building. You can have better ROI, and you can make sure the building perform at optimum state. So this is tied with facility management. So there are some BIM projects that takes facility management into consideration. Means when the project start, they build the BIM model to cater for facility management. And one of the most famous example again is MRT2. So MRT2 is an infra that uses facility management as one of its BIM advanced use, because our country, right, is going to run this MRT system for the next, I don't know, 20 to 50 years. So it makes sense to have a very strong solution in terms of facility management to ensure that this MRT runs smoothly throughout the operation of the infrastructure. So if you're interested, we can go more detail into this facility management or this digital twin, where it can be break down to 5 levels. The higher the level, the better. Just like BIM, right? Maturity, just now I mentioned, got level. So facility management also got level, also have level. Okay, the first level, we just call it a descriptive level, where it is a live editable version of the building. Okay, and then you go up some more, you have you add some IoTs, Internet of Things, you add sensor data and operational data into the building, so it's more intelligent now. Your facility management solution is more intelligent. And then one more level higher, you build in some better programs, okay, and it now become predictive. Okay, it's able to give you able to do predictive maintenance, can give you different kind of insights on the building, different or the factories. Okay, higher, one more higher is comprehensive, where not only it gives you insight, you can do simulation or what if scenario. You can run scenario in your facility management. Maybe fire happening in this room. What will happen? What door automatically shut off, or phone is automatically dialed onto the bomba department, the closest bomba department, and data of which area of the building is sent straight away, maybe to the bomba department, so when they come, they know exactly where the fire is. This kind of thing. And finally, the highest level, where it has AI inside, we call it autonomous. where now the solution can learn and act on behalf of the user. It can shut off certain valve or something on behalf of user when certain scenario happens. So that is levels of that you can incorporate into facility management. But of course, the higher the level, the more complex and the more investment is needed, more expertise from different parties are needed. But this is the future of building. Sometimes we call smart building, and then it evolved into smart city. Okay, this is where it all started from. If you're wondering, are there sample of facility management software? Yeah, there are. In fact, in MRT, they are using software by a company called Bentley, but it's fully customizable. Sorry, it's fully customized for them. It's programmed from start. Sorry. This is one example of facility management software. It's called Office and Space IQ. In this software, it does the basic thing like floor plan visualization. You can do space planning. You can do move management. You can do some reporting and ticketing. Okay, and of course, it reads facility management software. Will read the BIM data, but the 3D data that's information reached, you'll read those data, this 3D data, and you can do different things with it. So referring to this Office and Space IQ, for example, by using this kind of facility management solution, you can actually optimize your space. You can use it to improve the environment, working environment, maybe the airflow or something. And then if it's a commercial building, maybe you can improve or boost the occupancy of the building, optimize it. This is just a snapshot of a slide I thought I put it to share with you. That when you do facility management, the asset of the BIM model has to be defined very carefully. So of course, different projects will be defined differently, but it has to be defined during the creation of the BIM model, especially during the LOD 500 stage. We have to put in information call it asset tagging, or you can just call it asset information into the model that it can be used by the facility management. Okay, we have come a long way. Excuse me.
Hello, while waiting for Maxon, I think Maxon is having a cough right now. But at the moment, okay, so it's a very informative presentation on BIM. So basically, BIM is actually an approach to design and development and allow designers to refine cost estimate based on the construction process. And then fundamental components and projection. So BIM also provide better models and more significant contact with the customer from the initial design stage. In contrast to the conventional 2D approach to tendering, design, and construction, the adoption of BIM gives contractors some advantages. So I think it's more or less it's a way for us to improve our digital construction in the construction industries. So I think we will need to wait for Maxon first. So
Thanks, Watson. Sorry about that. I had a cough and then I mute myself and I couldn't unmute. Watson, are you able to hear me? Watson, are you able to hear me?
yeah, sorry, Maxon.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. All right.
You,
Sorry,
you
Maxon.
actually
Yeah.
mute yourself.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Mhm.
Okay,
All
sorry
right. You
about
can
that,
continue.
everyone.
All
I
right.
will continue. Okay. Let me share my screen. Okay, hope everyone can see my slide now. So we are now moving on to another thing that we can explore when we do BIM, which is sustainability. Okay, building sustainability. So these two can be implemented into our BIM model or BIM project. Last time, I think it's called green building. People used to call it green building, but after that, I think they changed the word to be sustainability, so that is more clear for people to understand, and as opposed to green. Maybe people think that green building is a color of a building. So sustainability in UK or most of Malaysia, we put it under the seventh dimension, 7D, but in US is under the 6D. Yeah? Um, what exactly, how do you define sustainable building or a sustainable development? So the most common one is when we say sustainable development means this project or this development meets the need of present is right now or our generation, but it cannot compromise the ability of our future generation to meet their own need. So we do a project, we build a building or infrastructure to meet our need, but we cannot compromise the way we do it to the point that future generation is affected because we destroy the environment or things that are related to sustainability. For those who are into sustainability, you will know this triple bottom line sustainability model. Yeah. So when we talk about sustainability, we have to take care of three things. Okay. We have to take care of the people, which means all stakeholders, not only the building, people that stay in the building or people that construct the building, but around the community and future generation. Okay, we must take care of the people. Another one, of course, we have to take care of the planet, environment. We must make sure the project or the development is not impacting the environment. And then finally, of course, we have to take care of our prosperity. Means the project has to be successful. You must also make profit out of it. You must gain economically, socially, and technologically, so that I can just define it as prosperity lah, in terms of economic, social, and technology. So if we take care of these three things, the planet, prosperity, then we can say that our development is sustainable. But sustainability has many aspects. Yeah? Could be using renewable energy, using sustainable material, and many others. Rain harvesting, rainwater, reducing carbon footprint, etc. Okay. Normally here at Reliant and PCSS, our approach or methodology to sustainable design is that we have to understand, of course, we have to understand the climate around that project site. We need to have the ability to gather climate information on the project site. And then we need to find ways to reduce the load usage of that building. And this is tied to the design. Okay, we need to be able to analyze the design, improve the design of the building. And then if can, we want to use free energy, for example, solar energy, rainwater, okay? And finally, of course, our building must be efficient. So an efficient building ties up to reducing the energy load of the building. Okay, so this is the method that we use when we're talking about BIM for sustainability. So again, the model is different. Uh, we design the model, we must analyze the model so that it fits this method that we are trying to pursue. So again, there are software out there nowadays really that you can use for sustainable design. This video here is again, I extract to share just an overview for you to an idea how does a sustainable software work. Okay, so what you're looking at is Revit, the famous BIM authoring tool, and it has a plugin that ties to this software called Autodesk Insight. And it's a cloud software where it reads your BIM model, and because your BIM model is rich with information, so you key in the occupancy and each room, what's the purpose, and when it reads it, it will do the calculation for you automatically. Green building calculation or related to sustainability, and it gives you a dashboard like this. So it gives you data. It's automated. So no longer do we need to do it manually, referring to some standard book, table, manual. So these are all automatically. You can see many dashboard that lighting efficiency it shows you. Okay, it shows you all the data. So from this data that you have, you can use it to further improve the design to make sure that your development is sustainable. Okay, I'll just stop this video. As mentioned, we can go further than 7 dimension. We can do many other BIM usage, but I would like to focus now more onto some other services or some other technology that can help you when you implement BIM project. One that is popular is augmented reality, AR. So nowadays we have so many R. We have VR, we have VR virtual reality, we have AR, augmented reality, we have MR mixed reality, and then I think we have one more, XR, extended, or it's a mixture of everything, more and more R. So the one that I'm talking now is AR, because VR is already common. So, but VR doesn't help much. VR means you wear those goggles, right? So let's say, for example, let's say if you implement VR in your BIM, you can wear those devices and hold those joystick device. Okay, you can virtually explore what in your digital model. So that is VR. But the possibility there is a bit there's a limit because you are still in the room, maybe office or your home, and it's not much difference compared to you just explore it in your PC using software like Navisworks or maybe Synchro. So it's slightly
Apa
up
tak
a
ambil
bit.
ke?
Okay, so but AR is different. AR, number one, you can choose not to use a device. You don't need to wear a device. You can just use your mobile device like iPad, or you can choose to wear one, of course, can also. The special thing about AR is that it's on site. You are now at the construction site. So if you're not sure what AR is, maybe you can think of the very famous game last time used to take the world by storm. The Pokemon Go, where you download your phone and then you see kids and also adults chasing around catch monsters, right? So your phone will show the monster, but you're pointing the camera of your phone to the road or to a public area, right? So that is AR. It's a mixture of your digital and on-site, physical. So it's your site, your physical has been augmented. So we use AR. The one that we are familiar with because we carry this is called Gamma IR. So let me show you how you example of using this kind of app on site. So what happens that you upload your digital BIM model into your device. Once uploaded, you don't need internet anymore. So you go on site and then you use your iPad or your phone, okay, and then you point it because your device needs to have camera, of course. You point it to the site. For example, in this picture, we point it to the M&E services. So we can actually compare what's on site, what has been fixed on site, and compared to the digital model. So we can know actually, was it fixed correctly, what is missing or what has been done wrong. Maybe a pipe run too far away, 1 meter away, and you can actually assign issues to it. You can put comment, and if you assign issues, when you are connected to internet, this issue will sync to a CDE. For example, the Gamma AR sync issues to the Autodesk Docs or Autodesk Construction Cloud solution. Okay, so you can do with this kind of thing. The benefit is, of course, one is presentation. You can do it for presentation, but more practical is you can use it to capture progress. You can go on site and see what they have built. Okay, you don't need to actually open your model in the laptop or PC on site, check, and then go to the site and check. Okay, you can actually bring your mobile device and just point it to the area. Okay, and this allow us to collaborate also with the on-site engineers better. And of course, it can also be used for safety. Safety-wise, hazard identify or communicating hazard. Okay, maybe in your design, you know these are hazard area. So on site, you can use AR pinpoint exactly. And it can also use to a certain point construction training or demos. This is just a short animation GIF showing using AR on site. So capture, for example, on-site design, and then is that person, that engineer is actually assigning an issue. He's typing something, a comment issue, and later when he's connected to the internet, that issue will sync to Autodesk Docs or to the Gamma AR cloud. Okay, this is an example of how it looks like on screen, your iPad or your handphone, right? You will see like overlay, augmented reality, right? Overlay on site and digital. You of course can control the slider on the right here. It's controlling the opacity and the transparency. You can drag up and down. You can actually select on the screen. You can actually select the object, and it show you information, BIM information about that particular object. Because the 3D is obtained from the BIM model. So you'll never hear of this AR using when conventional design is used 2D because there's nothing that can be leveraged on. But now with BIM, you see this kind of things. Okay. Another thing that we can use for BIM is scan to BIM. Many words, laser scanning or reality capture. Okay, I'll just call it scan to BIM. It is actually digitally capturing a physical space using a device. Most commonly is a laser scan device, and once you capture it, you will have a file. It's normally called a laser scan data, and this file is a 3D file consisting of millions of points that that actually show that the building, physical building. Okay, why want to use scan BIM? Why want to use this kind of scanning? The reason is because it saves time, saves a lot of time. For example, if you have an existing building, maybe a platform or something that's time consuming for you to, you don't have the drawing, you don't have the data, so you need to capture it, right? Whether manually you climb and take measurement, or it's time consuming to take measurement like that, and it could be hazardous. So by using scan to BIM, you can capture the data very accurately. So the accuracy is very good, up to 1 mm, and you can then use it into your BIM data. Okay, of course you can, it's up to you, you can use it to supplement or to compare as built and design. Okay, so there are many devices out there. The one that we use, one of the famous one that we use is Faro. This is an example of how it will look like when you scan. Okay, you will have dot line, dot points, okay, but they are very accurate. You can actually measure and you can put into the software, the Revit software or any other software, even AutoCAD. So this is just again a short clip that I extracted from somewhere just to hopefully give you an idea, better idea, how this laser scan help. Okay, so maybe you're doing some retrofit on the building, so you will scan the environment of the building, and then you can put it together with your BIM data, and you realize, oh, maybe your design will clash or what, so you can make design changes at the early stage, as opposed to after you construct only you realize the problem. Another aspect of BIM, when you want to do advanced BIM, is you have to pay close attention to the planning and execution side of it. And of course, all BIM now has, should have, hopefully all have, has a BEP, BIM Execution Planning Document. These are documents that are created normally by BIM managers to spell out in detail what is the plan of implementing BIM for that project and how to execute it. In it, it will show in very detail who's the party involved, what is their responsibility, how the model should be created, what are the color coding, how shall the model be stored in the common data environment, who shall store it, what software to use for what discipline, what version of the software to use, what is the schedule, when should the model be completed, what is the level of development at different stage of the design, what should be used. So this is a document, and it's normally a live document because throughout the project, right, maybe it's a 4 years, 3 years project, there's bound to be changes. So when there's a changes, either design change or some other changes approach, then the BEP will be should be updated by the BIM manager to reflect that. So, and then it will be distributed to all the stakeholders so that every party and discipline will know what's the latest thing to do. So if you're involved in the BIM, you will know that there's such this document. If you don't have, you can actually request for it. So I will not go too detailed into this topic as it's very technical, and maybe perhaps another day if you are interested. All right, now I'll just share with you some of selected BIM projects that we Reliant and PCSS have done. Just a quick overview, some pictures for you to see how it looks like. Yeah. Okay. So it's a combination of different kind of project. It could be a hospital, it could be a residential, commercial, infrastructure. Yeah, for example, what on my screen now is a hospital. There's some video in case you want to see. These are all real project, yeah, not not sample project. Yeah, they are real project. So in this case, we leverage the use of our BIM model and to do a little bit of video to show some animation as a way to present it. These are some other hospital. These are residential, shopping mall, healthcare. High-rise building, factory, highways, and these are just some pictures of our training. Okay, this is the training that was done for main contractors for MRT at in Kuala Lumpur, my BIM center for 2 years. And these are just some screenshot of random client of ours that we just take pictures, some selected screenshots. Okay, so I've come to the end of my talk. I would like to say thank you to everyone for listening to my ranting for 1 hour plus. And thank you to Watson and PCSS for having me. I'll pass the floor to Watson. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Maxon, for the very informative presentation on advanced research of BIM data. So right now we're going to go to the Q&A session, where basically we're going to answer some questions from the floor. So basically there's a question from John Tay. So John Tay asks, hi, does BIM execute plan require shop drawing submission? And based on current BIM practice, is services as small as 20 millimeter and below advisable to excluded in BIM? So Maxon, that is the first question from our participant, John Tay.
Can you repeat one more time the question?
Okay, okay. I repeat one more time. Hi, does BIM execute plan require shop drawing submission? And based on current BIM practice, is services as small as 20 millimeter and below advisable to excluded in BIM?
Services as small as 20 millimeter.
Millimeter, yeah, correct. Perhaps I can
2 cm. Okay, 2 cm.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, 2 cm. Okay, I got your question, sir. It's two questions.
Okay.
One is related to LOD, right?
Hmm.
Sorry, one more time, the first question.
Okay,
I forgot
see,
to
I think
listen.
Maxon, I already put the question in the chat. Yeah.
Let me read it carefully.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay. Does BIM execute plan require shop drawing submission? Yes, it depends on the project. If the project is up to LOD 500, you have to produce, or even up to LOD 400, you have to produce shop drawing submission. The second question, and based on current BIM practice, is service as small as 20 millimeter mm and below advisable to be excluded? It depends on what service and what exactly are you drawing. Does that small object that you draw, very small, 20 mm is 2 cm, okay, is that object critical? Does it play a role? Maybe it's a very critical object. If it clashes at that part, is very dangerous or what, then you include it. If it's not, I think you should exclude it. Anyway, right now, even in the software Revit, right, you cannot model smaller than 1 cm. So you can still model to at 20 mm, that's 2 cm, but you cannot model anything lower than 1 cm. Yeah, most likely you can exclude it unless there is a very strong reason why you should not. Shall I go on to the next one, Watson?
Max, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, Lim is my colleague. He would like
It's
to
a
chip in.
bit noisy in the background. I think I just want to add a little bit more to the first question. Does BIM execute plan? Maybe you're talking about the BEP, right? Require shop drawings. It depends on the stage of the BIM where your BEP is written. So if it is shop drawing screen, it is construction stage. Usually the BIM execution plan will be written from the very beginning and to be revised along the project life cycle. So basically, I think you will have at least three phases. One is design, and then construction, and handover. At least three revision of the execution plan. So the questions, the answers to your question is required shop drawings. Yes, if it is in the construction stage, you will need that shop drawing submission. And I think services as small as 20, I think he's referring to conduit. And whether we really need that, it all depends on why the BIM was created at the first place. Because in the BEP, the first thing we want to know is why do you do BIM in the project? What is the objective of BIM? So if your 20 mm object is not really critical and does not achieve any goal of your BIM in this project, then you can actually exclude that. But if you really need that for quantity takeoff, you need to have that model in the BIM. Otherwise, you will not be able to take it off. You will not have the quantity. And then, of course, you don't have the quantity, you don't have the cost. So that it all depends on project, and every project can be different. Some projects, and in some projects, because you don't model everything, because you know that thing you don't actually build. Some of the things you buy. So you don't actually have to really model it in detail because it's not required. You got to buy it anyway. So those are depends on the objective of individual projects. Okay, Max, I think pass to you on the second question.
Thanks, Lee.
Okay,
Watson, you want to?
All right. Okay, for the second question is from technologist Sufyan Tan. So he asked, how usually to determine initial cost of BIM in certain projects? Is it not that we can simply just put some amount of BIM modeler's salary against months, time project duration? Is it by a provisional sum based on certain percentage from total contract value?
This is very subjective, depending on project. Again, if you are interested, you can contact us for more detail. But I'm not sure if Lim want to chip in on this one, Lim.
Oh, this is very sensitive.
Yeah, sensitive and subjective.
Sorry, it's okay. Yeah. But usually, yeah, this is a very common question people ask. How much do I have to put a budget for BIM? And usually, when it comes to dollar and cents, people are very curious. What are the sum that you assign in percentage from total contract value? It all depends on what kind of project actually. So if it's the residential, we know that the fees are not a lot. So usually the job requirement, the BIM requirement also not so high. So that could be slightly lower. But if you go to MRT project, for example, where they actually needs a lot of the requirements in MRT is very, very high, and the expectation of the BIM deliverables are also high. So we cannot afford to have someone who is average or below average to deliver the job. So in that case, you will need a more experienced people, and that's where the fees will be more expensive. So again, it depends on the project, and it's really subjective. And yeah, so I think that's answer from me.
Thanks.
Okay, all right.
Next one, last
Okay.
question from.
Okay, for the next question is from Lee Boon Hua. So Lee Boon Hua did ask which big company or client are utilizing BIM, like JKR and who else?
Yeah, so JKR for sure, it has been a mandate, right, for public project above certain amount to use BIM, and of course CIDB also is pushing very hardly for commercial to use. But right now, almost all big developer are using BIM. So it could be the other way around. The question: which big company are not utilizing BIM? Because right now, like any big names that you know, Sunway, UM, Sunrise, they're all using BIM already. Even for small projects, because this is already the way forward. Last time you use 2D, right? From hand drafting, we moved to AutoCAD 2D. So that was a big trend change. During that time, whoever that do not know AutoCAD or whichever project that do not use 2D drawing, digital drawing, will have a lot of difficulty because the trend changed, right, from hand drafting to software, AutoCAD. And now the trend move again from 2D software like AutoCAD to 3D or BIM. So, and it has already taken the world by storm for many years already. In Malaysia, we are considered a laggard or one that's more slower to implement BIM. So commercially, many big companies have already moved to BIM.
Yeah,
Okay,
I just want to
alright.
add a little bit to that, Max. I think in here at KL and others, I think a lot of people, developers, or even the main con, they have the mandate. Even if you want to bid for their job, even the subcon, they have to be BIM compliance to whatever they need. So, for example, the Gamuda or sign dubbing, if you want to take a sign dubbing job, they have this BIM conformity that they will pass to subcon or the consultant to ensure that you are actually being qualified before you can become their so-called subcon and other stuff. So this has become quite common. And I mean, in KL and others, I think in what Maxon has mentioned, which big company is not using BIM? So that should be the question.
Okay, good answer.
Thank
So
you.
basically, we have another question from the floor as well. What is the current standard for data used in BIM asset maintenance and management, as JKR has their own asset system? Does the private sector need to follow this standard?
Yeah, so JKR do have their own standard. If you're involved in the JKR project, you have to follow their standard. Most famous one was SCADA. Okay, as for private, there is no really rule for you to actually follow standard when it comes to asset and maintenance, because different building might have different intention when it comes to facility management. But with that said, actually there are quite a number of codes or standard out there that a private company can choose to use. One that comes in mind now in my mind is the COBIE standard. Is COBIE. I think it stands for Construction Operation Building Information Exchange. So that is one of the standard that they can use or can use as a guideline.
Okay, maybe I just want to add to what Maxon has mentioned. All the standards actually, for JKR, for sure, they have their own standards. We have to comply no matter what. But if it is for private, usually this has to be defined beginning of the project, before the BIM started or before the project started with the BEP. So the BEP, BIM execution plan, that is the most important document that you need to develop. So those documents will actually list out the details, the procedures, the requirements for asset takings. So I think we did not show some of the sample of BEP for, let's say, for MRT. They have elder standards being listed out for consultants and contractors to comply. So your question is, do we follow theirs? No, we do not have to follow theirs. Every private project, like every main con or end user could have their own standards. So you get to really understand your own requirement, what you need the asset tagging for, what are you using that asset tagging for, and what is the eventually what is your objective, right? Why you need what to tag your asset. Because basically asset tagging is for FM or operation maintenance, right? So now you unless you understand your objective, what's next after BIM that you want to do for FM, then you tag the asset for that purpose. So that's why every company could have a different objective and goals, and the way they tag the asset that can be developed separately.
All right, thank you for the answer, Lim. I think we can get one last question from the crowd. Is there anyone with questions? Okay, there's a question from Technology Southern Esan. So how far off are we to reach BIM level 2 and 3 in Sarawak? As if so, is this a cost-intensive journey?
So just to recap, we have BIM level 0, level 1, level 2, and level 3. Forget about level 3 because it's not possible in terms of technology infrastructure. So your aim should be at level 2. But if you are just about to start, you can actually go slightly lower, level 1 first, or of course you can straight go to level 2. Your first project of BIM, whether it's level 1 or level 2, will be challenging. But as you do more subsequent project, using level 2, I guess, it'll just be a normal thing soon. This is a change of phase only from 2D drawing to doing BIM. So, of course, if you're first starting out, it's good to have someone like PCSS to advise us. BIM consultant like PCSS will be able to advise you throughout the journey. It will make your journey less painful.
Okay, thank you for the answer, Maxon. So I think it's like we covered all of our questions. So Maxon, is there anything else you want to cover before a wrap up? Before we wrap things up? Yeah.
I think there's one more question. How is the cost? I think there's one more question.
Okay.
How is the cost impact to company to use BIM? Has it been answered?
I think not yet. How is the cost impact to company to using BIM? Is it significant or just moderate? If your company have not been doing BIM and there's no one in there who knows how to use BIM, then there's going to be a cost because the cost can come in forms of people. You might decide to hire people who know BIM. The cost can come in terms of training. You might decide to upskill existing designer to know how to use BIM. The cost can also come in terms of software. You have to buy software like Revit or other BIM authoring software. So yes, there is a cost. Initial cost is there. But after that, the cost will moderate, will regulate, right? Because all your other projects are BIM. I hope I answered that. I hope I answered your question.
It could be just a technology. You treat it as a technology investment. It's like when people first using hand to sketch, when AutoCAD is not even there. So when AutoCAD was introduced, so that is the feeling that people have. AutoCAD is not cheap then, right? I can still do my job with my hand and sketches. and AutoCAD is an investment. So the question people will ask them into 30 years ago is that, what is the cost impact to company using AutoCAD? Is it significant or moderate? So back now, people ask, how is the cost impact to company to use BIM? Is that a significant or just moderate? So to me, I feel it's just an investment of technology and the way that you change things. And of course, the initial investment, there could be some pain. You get software not cheap, hardware not cheap, and things like that. But it's the skill set that the industry is actually developing, and higher than drafter 2D cost, of course. Actually, not so lah. I mean, you can actually turn your 2D drafter into BIM modeler, and not just provide them with some trainings. You can get it from PCSS. I think they can give a very good price. So I think you can start from there.
Okay, that's a very good answer, Lim. So I think for now, we're going to take our photos. So everyone that have the webcam, perhaps you guys can turn it on so that we can take a group photo for this session. All right.
Take photo.
Take photo. All right. So everyone is looking good. So okay, thank you so much for your cooperation. Let 1, 2, and 3. All right, another one. Okay, everyone ready? Okay, 1, 2, and 3. And another one.
Oh, so many.
Just in case. This is the last one.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for your cooperation. So before we end things up, so there's a few things that I want to share. Okay. So we would like to present a certificate of appreciation to Maxon for this talk. So thank you so much, Maxon, for your time.
Thank you, Watson.
All right. Yeah, and then get well soon.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then perhaps everyone can scan this QR code for your attendance, but we will send the attendance to you guys as well. So anyone that want to scan and want to fill it up now, so you can fill it up now. Okay. Okay, so basically, I just want to share with you. So in PCSS in here, we do have our upcoming Primavera P6 trainings in August, and we have the 6 resource and advanced. So anyone that are interested in joining the training can scan here and can contact us through sales@pcss.com.my. And then we have as well Synchro 4D BIM training. So basically, this more towards like Synchro 4D. So the next training is going to be on the 23rd and 24th of August. And the advance is going to be on the 5th of August, 2022. And then we do provide, in PCSS, we do provide BIM and CAD services for the construction industry. So anyone that wanted to know more about these BIM and CAD services, you guys can contact us. And then we do provide training as well. And then we do provide the software. So you guys can contact us through the email below. Then last but not least, you guys can scan here to access to our website. And then I think so far that's it. So great. So thank you everyone for your time. And then we really appreciate you guys are being here. And then as this is a part of our webinar series, so there's going to be a second episode on this construction work webinar series. So stay tuned with us and do follow us in our LinkedIn, our social medias, to find out more and to know what's going on. All right, I think that's all from us. And thank you so much, Maxon, and thank you so much, Mr. Lim, for your time being here and for Reliant. So if there's anyone that wanted to know more about our services, so do feel free to contact us. Thank you so much for your time. And then good luck. Yeah, thank you. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye. Thanks.